4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, Minnesota Vikings fans? Welcome to another episode of House Calls. I am your host, the Skull Doc. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Dave. This show is brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. And let's jump into it. Dave, I am depressed again. It's been a season to forget, dude. I mean, there's no secret that these last few games was just another, trial run for JJ McCarthy. Let's see that he's got a pulse. Let's keep him healthy. Let's finish out the year strong. Hit the lab in the offseason, work on the mechanics, then come back and show us what you got next year type of deal. And we'll get into the Giants game, the good, the bad, the ugly, but hurt again. That's the headline. Hurt again. Probably not going to play for the rest of the season. And our sample size for JJ McCarthy continues to be very small after just 8.5 games played this year and completely missing last year. And not great, Bob.
Yeah, it was I figured what I was going to probably say after the game from the first half. Like, he took a step back again a little bit. Yeah, just throwing it behind receivers toward, chance for picks. Receivers going to bobble stuff, right? And then not leading receivers too high or too outside. It just wasn't very accurate in this game. I mean, it was much. I wouldn't say it was much better the previous two games, but there was less catastrophic disaster, or opportunities. Like, he did have the pick six for the touchdown. That guy, I think the guy was offsides. There was a takeaway by the defensive back because the ball was thrown inside and should have been thrown outside. Things like that. His inaccuracy is just a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't over at the previous two games either. I'd mentioned it. It was still there. It's just it wasn't as significant as it was the previous weeks. And he kind of came back to his inaccuracies caused a problem. I do want to say Brosmer probably saved his career in this last game, coming in cold like that. Having pretty much a game-winning throw to Justin Jefferson, probably. This game wasn't gonna go very well. But I seen when he came off the field the first time that our quarterback coach just told him good job because he didn't fuck up. He threw that kind of back shoulder only where his receiver could go get it. To end a drive and then end up punting. And my first thought was, good. He didn't throw it inside. He didn't screw up. And then to come back and have that, game-winning drive with a field goal, having to throw to Justin Jefferson, probably, definitely the best throw he's made. It was good to see him bounce back from that. I want to have a good backup eventually. So hopefully we still have a shot in having a decent one. And he was decisive. It was everything I saw in the preseason. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah. I think I had a better view of McCarthy's game prior to getting hurt than you did. I placed a lot of blame on the receiver, on Naylor, for dropping the ball that led into a pick.
I still do. Yeah.
I placed a lot of blame on a absolute perfect dime of a throw against the blitz that JJ had to Addison. Addison just dropped the touchdown. I think McCarthy started, not counting drops, like 13 of 15 or something with a touchdown. Like, it was looking really good before he hit his hand on the helmet, which led to the hairline fracture, which is essentially a stress fracture of his hand. Stress fractures typically in the foot take a full 4 to 6 weeks to heal. I'm assuming it's the same thing in your hand. If it was a left hand, I think that he'd be able to play because it's his throwing hand. I don't foresee that he's going to be able to play the next 2 games. But no, I mean, you're right. Like, he has to have better ball placement to be to play in this league. You just have to. It's taking a lot of yak off the table, and it's going to lead to turnovers because you can't expect your wide receivers to be perfect, but you can expect them to be a hell of a lot better than what they showed. And Dave, I don't remember on the pick 6 play. That one was tipped as well, wasn't it? That was off Naylor's hands, I believe.
Though.
It was high.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't like
it didn't look like
oops, like it bounced off of him like in the chest or anything.
It wasn't like, oh my God, I can't catch this high though. It was like right up here, I believe. I think it was just.
And look. I think he had pretty stretched out for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Regardless, other ones. There was another throw to Justin Jefferson that he was just threw it way out too far in front of him and high. You like the Jordan Addison throw, right? But that could be equally thought of as a fuck it ball if, because, it's, I got a one-on-one, let me give my receiver a chance.
Yeah.
That's why it's legit throw. But the guy doesn't turn around. Jordan Addison, got to catch that. That's on him. And I do love the scramble and those various scrambles that he had. I'm not saying he had a horrible game or anything, or even a bad one, but his inaccuracies were there. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I felt like we were going to lose the game without him. I thought he was playing well enough to win the game. Giants were awful. Jackson Dart, I'm like, oh, that's awful. He did have a couple bad drops too, and one probably could have won him the game or tied it up at least with Slayton. Apparently, he has a drop problem. The announcers were saying during the game. But that was just right there, perfect throw, and he dropped it. So I mean, we just played less worse than the other team did. Yeah, just a great kicker. We got a just clutch kicker, and just that's awesome. Reichard's our hero.
Absolutely, man. Will the Thrill is the guy.
Shout out to our 33 man. He's he lobbied to stay in the game, and had led us in rushing 88 yards, I think, something like that. 20 carries. It was legit. He was hurt early in the game, and sure enough, Jordan Mason goes down. Well, Aaron Jones says, "Put me back in, coach," and plays the whole game and has most carries I think he had all season.
Yeah, dude. Aaron Jones, just the ultimate pro for sure. I do want to jump into the McCarthy, the McCarthy talking point of he's injury prone, and I've said this on the show before. To me, you have to take into account what the injury is. Is this a recurrence of another injury that he's previously had? Like, is it continue to be like Dalvin Cook and his shoulder, right? That was an injury-prone situation that turned into a bad situation for him. But, I mean, we're talking about a quarterback dinging his hand on a helmet. That's completely bad luck. He's 6'2.5". It would help if he's 6'5", 6'6", and he throws a little bit more over the top because your hand isn't finishing, right on the other opponent's helmet on average there. But I think that because of his height, because of his throwing motion, he's a little bit more prone to that than other quarterbacks, unfortunately. So it is what it is. He had a high ankle sprain earlier this season. That's going to happen. You got to protect yourself when you're scrambling. I think he's done a better job of that since coming back, playing in the end of the year here recently. But I don't think JJ McCarthy, I'm not going to label him injury prone. It sucks that he got injured as much as he did this year. It sucks that he missed his first year with a torn meniscus, which could happen to anybody at any time. And it doesn't change my outlook for him going forward. I know the talking point is, in a lot of these Vikings talk shows, podcasts, is that they want a more competent backup quarterback to come in and push him a little bit for next year. That's fine. I just fully expect him to be the starter next year. And he gets 2026 to see what he's got and to prove that he can stay healthy. And like I've said this on prior shows, if he can't stay healthy, then you're drafting another guy next year.
So I don't blame the high ankle sprain or the concussion that he's gotten, or the meniscus tear at all. This last injury, he should know the blocking assignments of all his players.
Well, he didn't get injured on that play, Dave. It wasn't the Burns sack. He got injured prior to that play.
Okay, so I don't blame him on that one. I thought he got injured on that play because he started his throwing. I'm going to talk about it. This is just a bad play. I'm glad he didn't get hurt on that play, but he
So
could get hurt on that play. The way he, not he's got to either get rid of the ball or eat it because he should know that the guy's open free. I guess he's a free rusher.
yeah.
And the fact that he decided to start his motion when he's gonna die.
So what happened on that play was he came in that series. I believe they handed the ball off on the first play, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They did, because that was the end of this. There was like 40 seconds left and the clock was ticking down. They got like a nice run on first down. And then what happened was he didn't realize his grip strength on his right hand was compromised at that time.
Oh, he didn't.
So that play happens. He receives the snap. He goes left to throw the quick screen, but the defensive end jumps up in the air and he's got his arms up. So if he's going to throw the ball, he's going to throw it like into the defensive end. That causes him to hitch. Okay. Then he goes to throw the ball into the ground at the same time, pretty much, as when Burns is getting into him. And he knows in the back of his mind that there's an unblocked defender coming from the right side.
It looked to me like he was actually making eye contact with the guy that was blitzing. So
yeah,
I felt like he saw him.
So what happened there was, as he's trying to spike the ball or get rid of the ball, it just comes out of his hand because he's got that stress fracture and he doesn't have grip strength. So it wasn't.
Do they know when it got hurt?
Yeah, there was I'll send you a video I saw on Twitter. Somebody showed a video of his hand on the follow through hitting a helmet.
Oh, okay.
So it was I think it was the series prior. Was that when he scored the touchdown run? Right before he scored that touchdown run, I believe.
Okay. That makes sense.
But watching it live, it looked like Burns caused that fumble, but it's actually out before Burns makes contact with him.
As it slips out of his hand as he's trying to throw the motion.
Right.
Yeah, I guess injury. He's injured. He doesn't know it. I guess obviously I'll forgive him for that. I won't call it as.
If your hand is hurting on the sideline, you got to be throwing the ball and making sure that you have strength. Like Joe Burrow, we've seen him in the past when he had a hand injury. Yeah, and it just came out of his hand, and he's like, I can't go. Like, so I feel like that's happened a couple times with JJ McCarthy, where he tries to gut it out to a detriment to his team. Like, if you can't go, you can't go.
That's why I tell people, like, when you turn about 25, 20, especially with baseball, because it always seems like you hit 27, like you're awesome. All of a sudden you hit your prime. And I tell people it's because they finally know their body, and they know how to fall. They know how to treat their body. They've learned how to diet and exercise and all what's needed to keep maintain their, like Tom Brady learned early and was able to play till he was 45. Just that's what's happening right now. He's just young, playing on adrenaline, and he doesn't know how to stop. And it's maybe the game's too fast for him right now. Yeah, he's gonna get past that, and I think he's smart enough, and he will know his body well enough. I think he's that type of player that he's gonna care more. But that's just, I felt like it was a young quarterback's mistake. Somehow you got to, like, just what's coming, just go to the ground. It's the end of the half there. What are you gonna do? You're not gonna go score a touchdown. You barely got a shot at a field goal.
I thought the thought process was right. Like, he's trying to just clock it and throw it down, but his hand injury caused him to fumble it. So it's bad luck. And, like, that's what I'm saying, but he shouldn't have been out there in the first place. Justin Jefferson, all Daniel wants for Christmas is for him to hit 1,000 yards. I totally agree. Going to the, like, Mike Evans things, where Mike Evans has 1,000-yard season for so many seasons, that should be Justin Jefferson. This is his down year. He's at 917 right now, so he needs about 83 yards to reach 1,000. He's got 2 games left. The Lions are really weak defensively. Yeah, so he needs to average a little over 40 yards a game these last 2 games. I think the Packers could be playing for the playoffs in Week 18, so he really needs to do, like, all of the damage, if not a lot of the damage, this week against the Lions. That's his best bet, in my opinion. And the Lions have come out and said, or excuse me, the Vikings and KOC have come out and said, we want him to get 1,000. We are literally trying to do this. So I think he gets it.
He hit the mark where he's the most receiving yards after 6 seasons. This past game, so that was good. But that's he's had 2 subpar seasons, right? With he's gonna barely get 1,000 yards this year, and he had the 1,000 when he got hurt that year. So it's probably the record may not stand. Puka Nakua might be a guy that breaks that. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
He had a
He's so good, dude. Puka's great.
Do not go on Aiden Ross's podcast.
The physicality that guy plays with is just outstanding.
I like him. I'm going for him next year. I'm gonna try to get him. But I was. It would have been nice to see Jordan Mason in this game. It would have been nice to see. I was pretty disappointed when he got hurt, but I was really happy when Aaron Jones stepped up and played pretty well. Offensive line held up pretty good. We only got sacked 4 times, but Brosmer only got sacked 1 time, but still 58. We had 58 plays. We're in the 50s every game now.
Yeah, I know. Got to be better on 3rd down all year long.
Well, we 7 for 12 this week.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, and they were 2 for 10. And I want to say that Dart had like 33 yards passing. Was that right?
Oh yeah, he finished with like
3 yards passing.
He finished like 0 fantasy points. He had a terrible game.
Great.
Oh yeah, they were awesome. Byron Murphy got a pick. Yeah,
except for Murphy Jr. had some penalties, but
Dallas Turner did not grade well though. That's unfortunate. I really think that he just needs another offseason to get bigger. I think that's a lot of it, is that he just needs to grow into his body and into his frame. He's got to get bigger. He's got to be able to take these tackles on and get a little bit more than just a speed move.
Now, I've seen him play the run decently. I'd watched him a little bit, and he held it. He held the edge if it was going to come back to him. So I'm not super down on the way he played. He's definitely not sparking too much. But Van Ginkel, man, I thought he was going to have that pick in that. Well, it was a bad throw. I mean, there was into coverage.
I think that was going to get intercepted if Gink didn't.
Yeah, if Gink doesn't touch it, it's probably getting picked too. But and he also had a sack. He's just great. I love watching him. God, Cashman had 16 tackles.
Wow.
He only had 48 plays.
Yep.
Crazy.
Eric Wilson had a great game. He got called for a roughing the passer. Honestly, that roughing the passer.
We had 2 of them, right?
Yep.
Because Harrison Smith got one.
Oh yeah. That roughing looked a lot like the Packers-Bears game that got Jordan Love hurt. How the linebacker just came in. It was kind of like helmet, like face mask to face mask.
See, here's the thing. I think they should say if it's a face mask to face mask, it shouldn't be a penalty.
Right. You're not leading with the crown.
No one's gonna spear you with their face. No, it never would happen.
That's what they teach you to break down eyes up. So
let's go low and take out his knees. I
gotta watch the Bears hit again on Love. The issue with Love is that he was like awkwardly moving forward towards the linebacker who hit him. Or no, it was the defensive end who got him. I do want to say the Bears player had his helmet down. It was more of a crown into Love than Eric Wilson. It was more of like face mask to face mask type deal. So yeah, it is what it is.
Redmond looked great again.
Yeah, he did.
I think we need to prioritize some people, and we'll get to talk about it on the off season. But
yeah,
there's certain players I feel like we need to build around.
For sure, we need a stud running back, dude.
Yeah, I was telling a guy today that I wanted Love.
I don't know though if KOC can like actually commit to enough touches for him, like Detroit does for Gibbs, because you got to feed that guy, and KOC wants to throw the football.
Well, the way McCarthy has been throwing, maybe it's by default, because we are we are running the ball. Let's see. I'm gonna look at how many rushing plays.
My prediction, though, is in training camp, it's back to the old KOC offense, and it's like, hey, can you get this down in training camp?
Yeah.
Can you?
31 rushes to 23 attempts passing.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Brosmer had a lot to do with that too. When Brosmer came in, it was just run, run, run.
Yeah, he had 9 attempts, which he was 7 for 9, which is pretty damn good. I thought, again, I thought he played well, didn't fuck up, did the job.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God they didn't score anymore. I mean, I thought the game when I knew he wasn't coming out of that half because I saw the way he acted on the sideline when they put pressure on his hand. I was like, yeah, he's not coming out. We're gonna lose this game. We're gonna lose this game.
Honestly,
The defense stood up.
I wouldn't have cared personally. I don't know how you feel about it. I think that in these last 2 games, I would not mind losing both games. I'm kind of in tank mode.
Right?
It doesn't matter. I think that getting that 4th place schedule for next year is potentially a big thing. When looking at, okay, you could potentially play the Cardinals, or you could end up playing the Rams or Seahawks or Niners. Like, I'll take the Cardinals next year. What other teams was it? You could play. I'm trying to remember
But still?
It's the Giants. You could play the Giants, or you could play Jaden Daniels at, the Commanders could be up and back next year with Daniels at quarterback, right? And then there was another division.
We could pass the Lions, right? We win out and they lose out.
Right. That's what I'm saying. No, I mean, even if we beat the Lions next week, we both have 8 wins, right?
Aren't they? Don't they have?
They have the Bears week 18.
Wins? Don't they have 9 wins?
No, the Lions have 8 wins right now. They're only 1 win more than us. And if we tie schedule-wise, we have the tiebreaker because we would have swept them.
Shit. Yeah, 8 and 7. Damn, that's out of the blue.
That's weird. Crazy. Yeah, I think they've won literally like every other game. They might have just lost back-to-back games for the first time this season.
Yeah, that's nuts. We beat them. We're 3rd place, and
yeah, I don't think Brosmer is gonna beat the Lions, but we'll see. Yeah, personally, I want to pick as close to top 10 as we potentially could. Right now, I think we're sitting at 15, and I do want to lock up the 4th place schedule. I'm kind of in tank mode personally. Now, would I cry over knocking the Lions or the Packers out of the playoffs? No, that'd be pretty fun.
Let me look at the standings. What's the chances the Packers not making the playoffs?
Well, this game is really, really big between the Bears playing at Niners. That's a big game for seeding purposes. If the Niners win out, they have the 1 seed, which is super quiet, by the way. Nobody's been talking about the Niners this season.
Yeah, so, God, it's the wrong division conference. Here we go. So, we're 9th. That's crazy. So, yeah, the only team that's could possibly pass them would be the Lions.
Gotcha.
So Packers win, they're in. They just got to win one of the next 2 games.
Got it. And they play the Ravens, and then who do the Packers play week 18? Us. They play us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they win, they're in. Win 1 game, they're in. Detroit loses 1, they're out.
As long as Lamar plays, I see the Ravens beating the Packers.
Now, there is Buccaneers. No, they can't because they got a tie. Because the Packers got a tie. So yeah, there's only shot as the Lions.
Yeah, there's a lot of playoff seeding scenarios for the last 2 weeks, which is kind of fun. heading into the playoffs. Where's your temperature at with the Bears as a team currently set? Looks like they're going to take the NFC North here.
They had a lot. They were like us when we won 12, when we won 13 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
the way I
agree.
feel about them.
I agree completely. Like they're playing good ball, but they've had a lot of breaks go their way this year.
Yeah, and we
A
need them
lot of
too. We
breaks.
need them too in 22.
Yep. Now that doesn't take anything away from them. It's just they have all the what do they call it? The puck luck, right? Like it's just bouncing their way. They recovered an onside kick against the Packers to go win that game.
Which never happens, right?
Just crazy stuff.
5% or something.
I think they're an 11-win team now, and they have like a plus 33. They're like plus 33 in point differential, which usually like 11-win teams are going to be, 100 plus or something like that.
22.
Exactly. Yeah. But Chicago's defense been playing a lot better the last few weeks. A lot better. And I think that's been the difference for them.
They're 2-3 in the division.
Yeah. Yep.
2-3 in the division. And we should have beat them. Damn it! If it wasn't for a kickoff.
We caught them when I feel like they weren't playing as well offensively yet. To be fair, though.
Yeah.
Because they've been looking much better offensively in terms of running the football, especially like I feel like that Philly game for them, the running game really started clicking, and they've kind of carried that a little bit too much at times. Like last game against the Packers, like you guys got to let Caleb throw the football if you're going to win this game, and eventually they did. They got into 2 minutes and they just let him throw the ball, and they ended up winning the game. It did take an onside kick, but kudos to the Bears. I was not a believer. I just didn't think that the roster was ready yet. But the running game has really allowed them to thrive this year, and a fourth place schedule. I think that plays a big factor too. They played a lot of bad teams this year, but they've also beat a couple good teams this year as well. So kudos to them. In terms of the Lions, I think that we kind of called it, right? I think the coordinator issues caught up to them this year.
It did. And when we started out going like we're wrong, like game 7 or something like that. Yeah, we're fucking wrong. But no, we actually ended up being pretty damn right. And I said they would finish third.
Dan Campbell sat their coordinator, I believe, after the Vikings game. I think that's when he got fired.
Yep. After our game, he sat him down.
Or not demoted, or he got demoted, I would say.
He took the play calling away from
him. Packers, offensively, they're just too inconsistent, I think. They still have a good defense, despite losing Micah Parsons. But offensively, even with Jordan Love, it looks either like it's great or looks terrible, and they need a little bit more consistency there. Which team do you think has more firepower to go farther in the playoffs, the Bears or the Packers?
Whose quarterback's gonna be healthy? Because did Love get hurt?
A concussion. He'll be back. Yeah. I say Packers.
I would say the Packers.
Yeah. So as a Vikings fan, I'd rather the Bears get the higher seed and make the Packers play on the road, personally, in the playoffs. That's the way I see it.
Like anytime the Bears or the Lions win the division, I'm not too worried. I still have this behind me is NFC champions. We're still ahead of the Packers, so by 3 games.
I just don't want to see the Packers get home field through the playoffs.
Yeah,
that would be.
That
wouldn't be great.
If teams I don't want to win the division, Packers would be number 1. So
Daniel's taken the Bears over the Packers in regards to getting in the playoffs a little bit farther, going on a run. He just thinks the Parsons injury is too big of an obstacle for the Packers to overcome. I thought the Packers defense looked very, very good against the Bears this last game until they got into 2-minute drill. For whatever reason, they just kind of went into prevent mode and everything was easy from that point on. So
yeah, we got to figure that out.
We got to figure that out. I also, though, I will say Halfley wasn't anticipating, giving the Bears an onside kick return. So he played that game conservatively, wasting the clock, I'm sure, and it just kind of bit him in the ass.
Steelers 9-6.
Speaking of defense, what do you think is going to happen with Brian Flores since he's not under contract for next year? Personally, I don't think either one of us think he's getting a head coaching job, but do you think he would leave for a lateral move and take a DC job somewhere else to like a higher?
I actually talked about this last week, and I said if he didn't get a head coaching job, I think he'd stay here, and we'd pay him enough to stay.
Yeah, I think so too. I saw an interesting theory from someone that said, would you trade Kevin O'Connell and just elevate Brian Flores as your coach? I wouldn't do that.
No.
Like, what capital are we talking about? Like, are we talking about a single first round pick? Yeah, Daniel, the real question, guys, turkey or ham for Christmas? Screw this Vikings talk, bro. They suck. Turkey or ham?
We got picanha.
Picanha, what's this?
Just Brazilian steak.
Interesting.
Steak.
That sounds good.
We just came. That's where I was before I turned this on. We went to the butcher.
So my in-laws, they do prime rib for Christmas dinner every year. So we'll be having prime rib. Tomorrow night, we're having the in-laws over at our house for Christmas Eve. And we have Bona beef, lemon chicken that we're catering. And we're going to make some vodka sauce pasta. How about you, Daniel? What are you having for Christmas? Prime rib.
Yeah, my nephew usually brings out prime rib and this is in South Dakota. I'm not going, but prime rib and not lobster. Whatever, crab legs.
Oh yeah,
prime rib.
Surf and turf. Yeah. Ham. Can't go wrong with ham, man.
I like ham. My mom would make bowls sometimes, but we always had a turkey. And yeah, it was always dry.
Just jumping back on like Vikings talk. I think there's an avenue with the Vikings getting a fourth place schedule that the ball bounces our way next year just a little bit better. If McCarthy can clean up some of these mechanics, I could see the Vikings going worst to first next year. Do you see that avenue?
Yeah, why not? Really kind of depends on how much we hold the team together. And obviously the biggest downfall this year was injuries.
Yeah. Got to find a center. I think that Ryan Kelly's probably done. So you're going to have to figure that out.
And is Jurgensen good enough? I don't know.
You might have to draft a kid. And then Donovan Jackson's in year 2, so you're hoping for another step from him. He's been good as a rookie. Yeah, I think he's been everything we could ask for.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not down on him at all. Like I felt like he was good enough. Injuries again, freaking problem. Darisaw injuries again.
Darisaw is going to have a big comeback here. I really do believe that. I think the knee is going to get healthy over the season, over the offseason, and I think he's going to come back and be elite again. He was a shell of himself all year. That sucked. But yeah, I mean, we'll have plenty of talk for these offseason. Who stays, who goes, what's it going to look like? But just from a broad view perspective, I think that this is still a very good team. I tell my friends all the time out here, Vikings are a good team with a shit record, in my opinion, right? Like if this team got solid quarterback play this year, they probably win the division. Like I think they do. They're just that defense, like their defense right now is Super Bowl caliber. It's that good.
I used to have the worst arguments. I used to have the worst arguments with people, and we started out the season with Cousins. We were 1-4. All the turnovers was the only reason we were losing, in my opinion. And I said, "This is a good team." Everybody's, "We're not a good team. Look at our record. We're not a good team. We can fix one thing." Sure enough, we go 4-4. We, played great against the 49ers who went to the Super Bowl. We're killing the Packers and Cousin gets hurt. We were a good team, but we, had a bad record. That's the way I felt. And in that case, it was fumbles. This case, it was injuries, I think.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of everything. It was injuries. It was turnover margin. We were not good at the turnover margin this year. We didn't force enough on defense, and we gave it away too much on offense.
Well, that was and I think mainly their quarterback play was the problem with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And negative game scripts. It's hard to force turnovers when your defense is playing behind a lot. Yeah, Daniel, we were talking about that, man. Like Jeremiah Love, does he make sense for the Vikings? Would you pull the trigger if he was there at 10 to 15 somewhere? Based on the talent that everyone says that he is, it sounds like he belongs that high in the draft.
And the type of kid he is too. I like him.
If you're going to take a kid that high at that position, you got to use him, right? Would we continue to use him at a high clip? Are they going to put more design into the run game and put more effort into the run game? So Thor Nystrom listed some names. He obviously loves Jeremiah Love. He wasn't sure if the Vikings are the best team for him in terms of scheme and the things that we've been talking about. But there's a couple guys that he likes as home run hitters with speed and elusiveness later in the draft for the Vikings. And I forget their names, but one kid was from ASU, I believe, or Texas A&M. And so I do think that a running back to pair with Jordan Mason is going to be important. I think that Aaron Jones is probably on his way out here, unfortunately.
Yeah, it depends on the draft. What we get at running back and whether or not we sign him for another year or whatever.
We had a man cover corner in the worst way. And I know that's kind of weird to say as this defense hasn't given up a passing touchdown in like 6 games now because the scheme is fantastic, but we are just so thin at corner and we play no man coverage because we can't. We just don't have the dudes to stick with dudes. I think that's such a huge advantage when you have your Xavier Rhodes who can just shut down a wide receiver one on the other team. That gives you so many options.
Based on the commentary this last game about how they say Harrison Smith basically decides what they're going to run on defense after they line up, makes me want Harrison Smith back.
Yeah, I think there's no way, dude. He's done. He's done. Enjoy the last 2 games of Harrison Smith. It's bittersweet, but that's something to watch. Like, hope he gets a pick in the last couple of games.
I would have loved that sack.
Yep.
I was pissed. He was too.
Well, soon it's going to be mock draft season, my favorite time of year. We're going to be doing plenty of mocks on the show. Daniel, I hope you're a big mocker because that's my stuff, man. I love doing the mock draft stuff. Might have to pay into PFF this year, and so we get all the goodies.
Well, hopefully I might still be signed in under one of my previous co-hosts, so I don't know.
Oh, nice.
That's how we used it this last year.
I remember that. Yep.
My computer remembered his passcode.
Well, I'm pretty much out of topics. Not a lot to talk about tonight. Not a ton to break down from the Giants game. Like I said, it's not going to ruin my Christmas if they don't beat the Lions on Christmas. Unfortunately, the Christmas slate of games kind of sucks. There's a lot of injuries that are affecting those games, and it is going to interfere with my Christmas dinner, which also sucks. That's such a weird dynamic because my entire wife's family are big Bears fans, and then they're hosting, so I'm going to go to their house. We usually get there around 4. The game starts at 3:30, something like that.
Your time, yeah.
3:30. Yeah, Central. Yeah, 3:30 Central. So I'll get there. The game's already on. They're going to sit down for dinner. I'm going to awkwardly have my phone on my lap and glance at it while we're eating dinner. Like, it's so awkward. Like, I just want to watch the game, but I can't skip Christmas dinner, you know? Bad timing. What would you do in that situation?
Tell them what's up.
You're going to sit in the other room, watch the game?
I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. But people would know me, so. My wife's family would it'd be like
they offered
playing all the way around it, but I guess the Bears.
they said go watch it and join us when you can type of thing, but that feels awkward. That feels more awkward. Like I'm just gonna. It's also Max Brosmer playing, so I'll just watch what I missed, I guess, after dinner. I don't know. It's timing, dude. It's the same thing that happened the year we played the Saints and Kamara scored like 6 touchdowns on us during Christmas dinner. You know, I was sitting at the table not watching because it was going so terribly. I think that was Mike Zimmer's last year, right? His defense just collapsed.
Yeah. I've never had a bad defense.
Yeah.
He goes on to have 2 bad defenses.
Yep.
3, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember that. He said that. I think he said that the same year that Kamara scored 6 on him.
No, he said it. I want to say he said it. It
was a COVID year, right?
2020,
I think.
Because it was 2019. He had a good defense, decent defense. Because we made the playoffs that year, and I think Kirk Cousins made the Pro Bowl. And I remember, was it 2000? Yeah, we ran the ball a lot. There was a game where we went up 28-0 on a team running the ball. I forget. But and then the 2020, 2021. Oh, so maybe 2 years of bad defenses.
I'm such a Mike Zimmer fan. It sucks that it went sour at the end. It seems like that's just what happens, though, when stuff isn't going your way. I mean, shit, dude. KOC's been a little snippy with the beat writers this year, right? Have you caught that? He's been kind of irritated more than usual. Yeah. When you're not winning, shit gets chippy.
Yeah. I still remember when what's his name? I can't. Sorry, I'm bad. But asked him, do you think Kirk Cousins should throw more picks this year?
Somebody asked, Judd
did.
So the spirit of that question is like, do you want him to be more aggressive?
I loved his answer.
What was his answer?
His answer was, so there was a time with the Rams that we didn't win a game in October, and it was because of turnovers.
Right.
And we fixed that, and we went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think he said I think he said something like we didn't win a game in November or something.
It was November.
Like that.
It was November.
And then we won the Super Bowl.
And we had a problem with that, and then we fixed it, and we went on to win the Super Bowl.
Dave, part of me feels like the Vikings have never been like dog shit in my entire life. I think I've had one season with 3 wins, and that's when we got Matt Khalil, right? We just barely missed out on Andrew Luck. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm feeling super sad with the Drake May situation lately because that was my guy. I really wanted him. Seemed like the Vikings really wanted him. We wanted to trade the farm for him. And the Patriots said no, like, we're going to take this guy. And now he's like an MVP candidate, right? So it's like, I don't know. I'm just feeling kind of melancholy and sad that the Vikings are never in a situation to take the top guy in the draft and get that franchise quarterback. They don't always come there, but have you ever felt that way? Like, man, I'd almost prefer this team is just dog shit at some point to get that opportunity. Now the timing has to be right. You know what I mean? To warrant that number 1 pick and to have him be a stud. Like maybe Arch Manning in 2027, who knows? But yeah, Daniel's saying that the trade never happened. Pats wouldn't take any offer from May. But we know that they tried, Dan. That's my point. Is that the Vikings tried damn hard. Shit, KOC was asked at like this church event about trying to talk to Mr. Kraft about trading. And KOC was like, yeah, I sent him a nice thing of flowers, like not hiding the fact that we are trying to trade up. And they said no. But we're just in my broad question, Dave. How do you feel about the Vikings kind of always being either good or in the middle and never dog shit to potentially get a really high pick like that?
Well, I saw something today that Cowboys are now 30 years without the only team in the NFL, or is it? I don't know if it's NFC or NFL that has not made the NFC title game. And it seems like every so often we have an elite team where we make the NFC title game. And there are certain years we probably, like last year, you think we could have, we could have if our quarterback didn't fucking shit the bed 2 weeks in a row. That would have. It seems like every once in a while we end up doing that, which is honestly better than most teams, and we still have a shot. We still get that shot, and we just haven't taken it. We haven't taken that next step. And me having a guy in a rookie contract, or a quarterback in a rookie contract, I don't think it's gonna make it any better. We hit lightning in a bottle, just like every other team that gets the NFC title game. Then there's teams that are just have that scouting system, or just blind spaghetti against the wall luck. Like Patriots would trade their vets and just draft more players, just keep drafting players, and hit, and then they would hit on people. Like, who thought Edelman would be like, awesome, right? It's like they hit on these guys because they're just drafting, and they build through the draft. I would be really happy if we did that more often and hit more. We just don't hit more. There was a time where we weren't a destination franchise when we're playing in the dome, and our practice facility had to duck in. We had to duck in the locker room, and they took interviews next to a wood paneled pole, wood paneling around a support beam in the middle of the fucking locker room. It was a shithole. In comparison to the rest of the league. Now we got everything. Let's just draft good and have more players to draft. This will probably be the most players we've had.
And Rick Spielman was great at that, by the way, building through the draft. He just couldn't find the quarterback.
Yeah. There was a couple years he's pretty god awful. There's still that one year where he drafted that German guy. That was still the only guy he got out of was a 7th round pick. I think it was, forget his uncle was like a defensive lineman. He played safety for us. I forget his name.
Jody says sad conversation in this mofo. Bro, it's sad times.
Sorry,
right
man.
Fucking sad times. Like, what are we happy about right now, bro?
Tell us what to talk about, man.
Will the Thrill.
We weren't expecting to talk this long.
Yeah, Will the Thrill. We're happy about him. I'm grateful that none of my players made the Pro Bowl to potentially get hurt playing dodgeball. Right? Fucking sad, dude. What do I have to be happy about right now? I'm happy that I have my health and my family's health, but when it comes to the Vikings, bro, not a lot to be happy about. Like, it's bad times. Like, I was listening to Matthew Collar's podcast with Daniel Jeremiah, and I had to turn it off halfway through the show because Collar was getting into just like analytics about how bad JJ McCarthy has been this year and kind of how unacceptable it is, and like how unlikely it is that, trending forward, that it's really going to turn around. There's a couple examples of it happening with some franchise like quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Like, it takes time, and he's super young, and it may happen, but the conversation is fucking depressing, and I can't listen to that right now. I'm not going to listen to that right now. That's just me. I don't know if your all fandom is the same as me, but like, I don't want to listen to shit that's going to make me sad, like, especially around Christmas time, So I'm going to move on. I'm going to listen to like something else. Like, there's not a lot right now to be happy about, man.
Yeah. We had to look forward to, McCarthy taking the next step, and then he gets hurt. It's just like, what's going to happen next? No, and it could be a good, it could end up benefiting the team. Again, I'm not a tanker, and I accept results and whatever, but it may turn out to be a rewarding thing to the Vikings that we do get a higher draft pick in a fourth
place schedule.
Fourth place schedule. So that might have worked out. Given, see Brosmer for a couple more games, see if he's worth keeping around. Just good things there. we're gonna play a lot of guys. We're gonna play young guys, just like I talked about last week. They did bench, they did put I like I wanted them to. They put Darius on the IR, so I thought that was a smart move. I don't think probably School's been holding his own pretty decently, to where he's not killing us. But gosh, it's I don't want anybody hurt. That's all I'm hoping for now. Is I just don't want anybody hurt. It would be cool, I guess, to finish above 500 and kicking out the Lions. But again, like you said, do we want would we rather play the Cardinals? Yes, I would. Much better.
Over the Rams or the Seahawks or the Niners. Absolutely. Let's end it. Let's end the show there. It's, we're going to bleed purple. We're going to love our Vikings, but they don't make it easy on us all the time. And it's been a really rough year. Would have liked to see a hell of a lot more out of McCarthy. He did show us that he had a pulse for the Redskins game, for the Cowboys game. Bad defenses, granted. And I thought he looked good to start the Giants game, albeit a little bit of, ball placement issues, but still, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. I thought the receivers kind of let him down,
and especially Jordan Addison. All that can be cleaned up.
It's going to be a big offseason for mechanics. He's going to have to live, eat, breathe mechanics. He's going to have his baby in his arms working on 3-step drops, 1, 2, 3, right?
And I don't think we have to worry about our quarterbacks coach getting a head coaching job like they were talking about preseason. But who knows? Maybe he'll get an OC job. But he's definitely not getting a head coaching job after this season.
Yeah. I want to say Merry Christmas to Daniel. Thank you for joining us, buddy. Always good to have you active in the comments. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Dave. And Merry Christmas to all our fans listening to the show. We love you guys. We'll be back to talk to you. Let's see, next Tuesday. Yeah, I should be good to go next Tuesday if that works for you.
Yeah.
And we'll break down the Lions game and break down the NFC and the AFC playoff picture as well. And break down the Bears-Niners game, which will be a fun game to break down too, and the Packers going up against the Ravens as well. So exciting games around the league, not necessarily for us, but still fun to root for your rivals to fail. So let's watch in spite. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Skull.